I just want to make a couple of comments to start out, because we've heard it from the other side of the aisle and even yourself with regards to this being a Democratic or Republican issue, whether this is a political game, if this is an election year charade. I think it's very important to recognize that you, as the Attorney General, with all due respect, need to be held accountable, or someone does, as to what happened. Now, I'm amazed that of all the issues that face this country, this is the issue that I hear from my district so frequently about. That, and in fact, today, and I will enter them into the record, I have no fewer than 30 questions from folks in my district who want to know what happened, why it happened, and who's going to be held accountable to it. And I was taken aback just a little bit with your response to my colleague, Mr. Wahlberg, when you sort of declared that I am the Attorney General. Well, with all due respect, sir, yes, you are, but you're also accountable to not only the folks in my district, but the American people.
And focus on matters that are extremely serious. When one looks at the death toll in Mexico, when we look at the number of guns that have gone to Mexico. Excuse me, sir, my time is ticking away. I just have one more question. Unlike the chairman, I was one of the members of Congress who called for your resignation. I feel that the Department of Justice, that you're responsible for all of the activities that fall under your umbrella, and I think that you've denied knowledge of the program, and that accordingly you should not be held accountable. My question to you today is, what more could have possibly gone wrong that you would have been held accountable? And before you answer that, I would suggest that the President has been eerily quiet about coming to your defense. So let me ask it this way. How many more Border Patrol agents would have had to die as a part of Operation Fast and Furious for you to take responsibility?
The gentlelady's time has expired. The gentleman may answer. Or not.
That's the kind of thing, you wonder why you're getting those calls.
Mr. Attorney General, you have, the executive branch has executive privilege. It's narrow, it's well-defined, there's case law. If you do not find a legitimate basis to deny us the material we've asked for, we will seek the remedies necessary to compel. Having said that, I appreciate your being here today, and I don't want to waste any of yours or my time on this at this point. Let's go through a couple of items here. First of all, it is reported through discovery that we have received that Mr. Monty Wilkinson may have informed you of Agent Terry's murder in a timely fashion. Is that true?
He may have. I know the murder occurred December 14th. I heard about it, I think, probably within 24 hours. I don't know if it came from Monty Wilkinson or from some other member of my staff, but I knew about the murder within 24 hours of its occurrence.
When you were informed about that within 24 hours, did anyone inform you or allude to the fact that the weapons found at the scene were from Fast and Furious?
No. I didn't know about Operation Fast and Furious until the beginning parts of 2011, after I received that letter from Senator Grassley, I guess at the end of January, and then that was about Operation Gun Runner. I actually learned about the Fast and Furious operation in February of that year.
Would you make available to us, through whatever records you can find, the name of the person who informed you, so that we can ascertain why that individual would not or did not tell you what was widely known almost immediately, that in fact law enforcement allowed weapons, walked, basically that these were Fast and Furious weapons? The emails that we've received through whistleblowers show us extensively that law enforcement was aware and concerned about it. We would like to know why someone kept that from you.
Well, I'm not sure anybody kept it from me. I mean, I found out about it, as I said, I think in January, February of 2011, and I'm not even sure how I found out about it. It might have been even through either a letter I received from Senator Grassley on February 9th. I'm not sure if it was contained in there. There were certainly media reports about it in February. Again, I'm not sure exactly how I found out about the term Fast and Furious.
would it be fair, from your own knowledge, to say that neither Lanny Brewer, as head of the criminal division, nor Jason Weinstein did anything to stop the program after they learned of what it was about?
Stop the program?
Fast and Furious, prior to Brian Terry's death.
Yeah. I mean, they both admitted that they were aware of Operation Wide Receiver and never connected the techniques that were used in Wide Receiver to Operation Fast and Furious, and as a result did not take any action in that regard, and both have admitted that that was a mistake.
Well, let's go through this. I think in my limited time I want to make sure that we do deal with Wide Receiver versus Fast and Furious. As of today, do your law enforcement authorities, such as the ATF, have the ability to see a straw purchase, believed straw purchase, and rather than arrest them at the door with no evidence, follow them to the next location?
See them?
In other words, does law enforcement have the ability to follow suspected gun traffickers with the weapons in their car from location to location?
I mean, keep them under constant surveillance? Yes. They certainly have that capacity.
Okay. So as far as we've been reported, every piece of evidence shows that in Wide Receiver, every effort was made, unsuccessfully in many cases, which is one of the things that concerns us, to follow the weapons. To your knowledge, was there ever an order under Wide Receiver to abandon following the weapons and let them walk?
Well, I'd say, during the early, as I've seen more on Wide Receiver as we have provided.
Well, yeah, but a yes or no would be a good start, Mr. Attorney General. Do you know of any time in which people were ordered to peel off and let the guns walk under Wide Receiver?
I'm not sure about whether they were ordered to or not, but I do know that in the early phases of the investigation, observations were made of people buying guns and decisions made not to surveil them after those purchases were made, and as a result, 100, 400, I'm not sure exactly what the number is, of guns walked. And there were complaints raised by people connected to the investigation about the fact that guns were walking in Operation Wide Receiver.
Since it was never allowed to simply let known straw buyers, known guns fall into illicit criminals' hands, have you taken any action to fire anyone or discipline anyone from Operation Wide Receiver?
Well, Operation Wide Receiver occurred in the prior administration. I don't think that...
Well, we're not talking about political appointees. We're talking about people who would transcend the transition. Have you, to your knowledge, disciplined anyone from Wide Receiver?
No, I have not.
Have you disciplined anyone from Fast and Furious?
No, I have not as yet. As yet. There have been personnel changes made at ATF. We obviously have a new U.S. attorney in Arizona. We have made personnel switches at ATF. People have been moved out of positions. I'm certainly going to wait and see what I get from the Inspector General, the report that we have from the majority. I don't know if the minority is going to produce I don't know if the majority is going to produce a report. And I will be taking all that into consideration, in addition to all the things that I'm able to find out on my own, and make personnel changes as I think they are appropriate.
Well, my time has expired. I will say that I don't think the minority report is going to do you a whole lot of good, since it seems to say more or less nothing happened. With that, I would recognize the author of the minority report, Mr. Cummings, for his round of questions.